Welcome to True Echo Stories, where real moments leave real consequences. I found her diary 3 days after her funeral. It was hidden behind her old scarves, in the back of the closet. In a corner she thought I'd never reach. She was right. I never went to her side of the closet. Not once in 11 years of marriage. I almost didn't open it. I held it for a long time, just sitting on the edge of our bed, alone. The house was completely silent for the first time in weeks. No relatives, no crying, no food on the table that strangers had brought. Just me, and her diary, and a silence so heavy I could barely breathe. I told myself I was respecting her privacy, but the truth, I was scared. Something in my chest told me this was going to change things, that once I opened it, I could never go back. I was right. Her name was Sarah. She was 36 years old, and she was the kind of woman who remembered everyone's birthday, but always forgot her own. She laughed at bad jokes. She burned toast every single morning and then laughed about that too. She used to leave little notes on the fridge, just small things. "You look tired today. Rest." Or, "I made soup. It's not good, but it's warm." I was Daniel, 39, an engineer at a firm I'd given 8 years of my life to. I was focused, driven, always one meeting away from the next big thing. We were different. She was soft where I was sharp. She was patient where I was restless. But she was mine, and I was hers. At least, that's what I thought. 2 years before she died, Sarah found a lump. She didn't tell me that night. She told herself it was probably nothing. But it wasn't nothing. The doctor confirmed it 6 weeks later. Stage 2. Treatable, but serious. Real. The kind of diagnosis that changes a person's entire relationship with time. She sat in that doctor's office alone. I was in a presentation. My phone was on silent. She called me 4 times. I saw the missed calls later that evening. I texted her back, "Sorry, big meeting. Everything okay?" She replied, "Yes, all good. How was the presentation?" That was the night she made her decision. She told no one. Not me, not her sister, not her mother, nobody. She started treatment quietly. Early morning appointments she disguised as gym sessions. She wore long sleeves to hide the bruises from the IV lines. She kept her hair even when it started thinning, just enough that I never noticed. Every single day she came home and she smiled. Those months were the most important months of my career. My company was going through a massive expansion. There was one senior position opening up. I had been working toward it for 3 years. I was so close I could feel it. Sarah knew that. She watched me stress. She watched me rehearse presentations in the living room at midnight. She made me coffee at 6 a.m. without me asking. She ironed my shirts the night before every big meeting. She never once said, "I am sick. I am tired. I am scared." Not once. In March, I got the promotion. I remember calling her immediately. She picked up on the first ring, and she screamed. She actually screamed with joy. She was crying and laughing at the same time. We went out to dinner that night. She wore her red dress. She looked beautiful. She ordered dessert and said, "You deserve this, Daniel. You worked so hard." I had no idea that 2 weeks earlier, she had been told the cancer had spread. She passed away on a Tuesday morning, 9:08 a.m. I was in a meeting. My phone was on silent. I saw the missed calls at 9:14, 6 of them, from the hospital, from her sister, from a number I didn't recognize. I walked out of the conference room into the hallway. I called back, and the world stopped. I don't remember driving to the hospital. I don't remember the days after that. I don't remember the funeral, not clearly. People spoke, people cried. Someone held my arm the whole time. I kept thinking one thing, over and over. Why didn't she tell me? 3 days later, I found the diary. And for the first time since she died, I had an answer. I opened the first page. Her handwriting. Neat. Small. The way she always wrote. Like she was being careful not to take up too much space. The first entry was dated January 14th, 2 years ago. She wrote, "Today was hard. The pain was worse than yesterday. I counted the ceiling tiles in the waiting room to stay calm. I got to 47 before the nurse called my name. Daniel had his big presentation today. He practiced in the living room last night until 1 a.m. He looked so nervous, so determined. I didn't tell him. I decided to smile when he came home, so he wouldn't worry. I had to stop reading. I closed the diary, I put it on the bed. I pressed my hands over my face, and I fell apart. Because that entry, that one single entry, she had written it 347 times, every day for 2 years. She chose to smile every single day, while she was quietly dying, and I never noticed, not once. But that's not even the part that destroyed me. Because on page 89, there was one entry, just one, that she had written for me. I couldn't put it down. I told myself, just one more page, just one. But every page pulled me deeper, into her world, into a life she had lived right next to mine, that I knew nothing about. The second entry was dated February 3rd. She wrote, "The nausea was bad this morning, worse than before. I got up at 5 a.m. and sat on the bathroom floor for almost an hour. I didn't flush until I heard Daniel's alarm go off. I didn't want him to ask. He made me tea this morning. He does that sometimes, when he remembers. He put it on my side of the bed without saying anything, just left it there and went to shower. I held that cup with both hands. It was warm. I thought, how do I tell him? How do I say, this tea, this ordinary Tuesday morning tea, it might be one of the last ones I ever get to have? I couldn't, so I drank the tea, and I smiled when he came out of the shower. I remembered that morning. I remembered making that tea. I thought she had a cold. The next entry that broke me was March 15th. She wrote, "He noticed today, first time in months. He looked at me at dinner and said, 'You look pale. Are you okay?' I felt my heart stop. The words were right there. They were so close. I could feel them in my throat. But then he said, 'You're probably just tired. You've been doing too much.' And he went back to his food. And I said, 'Yes, just tired.' I went to the bathroom after dinner. I sat on the floor and I counted to 40. Then I washed my face, and I went back to the table and I smiled. He noticed. He looked right at her, and then he handed her an excuse, and she used it. Because she loved me enough to let me believe my own version of things. By April, the entries started to change. She stopped writing about the pain as much. She started writing about me. April 22nd, she wrote, "I watched him sleep last night for a long time. He looked so peaceful, so safe, like nothing in the world could touch him. I thought about waking him up, putting his hand on my face and saying, 'Daniel, I'm scared. I don't want to go.' But I didn't. Because if I say it out loud, it becomes real. And if it becomes real, he'll try to fix it. And he can't fix this. And I cannot watch Daniel, my Daniel, face something he cannot fix. So I let him sleep. And I whispered, 'Good night. And I love you. And I'm sorry.' And I turned off the lamp. I stopped reading. I went to the window. I stood there for a long time. 11 years. I thought I knew her completely. Every habit, every laugh, every small thing she did. But I didn't know this Sarah. This woman who sat on bathroom floors at 5 a.m., who counted to 40 in mirrors, who whispered sorry to me in the dark while I slept 3 feet away. This woman had lived an entire life inside our life, and I had no idea. By June, the entries got shorter. Her handwriting changed slightly. Still neat, but slower. You could feel it, the effort it took. June 11th, just 3 lines. Tired today, didn't cook. Daniel didn't ask why. He ordered pizza. He was sweet about it. I love him so much it hurts in a different way than all the rest of it. By August, she knew. She didn't write it exactly, but you could read it between the lines. August 30th, she wrote, I've been thinking about what I want him to remember. Not the sick version, not the scared version. I want him to remember the Tuesday tea, the red dress at dinner, the notes on the fridge. I want him to remember that I was happy. Because I was. Even through all of this, I was. Daniel gave me that. I was on the floor. I don't remember sliding down, but I was on the floor, back against the bed. Diary in my lap, she was happy. She was terrified and sick and exhausted and completely alone in it. And she was still happy. Because of me. And I never even knew she needed me. I turned to the last section. The pages toward the end were mostly blank. But then, page 89. Something was different. At the top of the page, she had written, not a date, not an entry number, just 2 words, in slightly bigger letters than everything else. For Daniel. I couldn't read further. Not yet. I closed the diary, pressed it to my chest, and I sat there in the silence of a house that used to have her in it, wondering, what do you say to someone who loved you that completely? What do you say when it's too late to say anything at all? I don't know how long I sat there. Floor, back against the bed. Diary pressed to my chest. The house was completely silent. Outside, a car passed. A dog barked somewhere far away. Normal sounds, a normal night. As if the world didn't know that everything had changed. I opened the diary one last time. Page 89. She had written it carefully. You could tell. The handwriting was slower than the entries, more deliberate. Like she had practiced what she wanted to say before she put it down. She began, My Daniel, if you're reading this, then I didn't get to say goodbye the way I wanted to. I'm sorry for that. I planned it differently in my head. I need you to know something first, something important. I was not unhappy. I know that might be hard to believe. I know you'll read these pages and think, she was suffering and I didn't know. And you'll blame yourself. I know you, Daniel. I know exactly what you're doing right now. Stop. Every morning I woke up next to you was a good morning, even the hard ones. Even the ones where I had to count ceiling tiles and wash my face 3 times just to smile. The smile was real. It was always real. I hid the pain, not because I didn't trust you, but because I knew what would happen if I told you. You would have stopped living. You would have turned our whole life into a hospital room. And I didn't want that. Not for you, not for us. The Tuesday teas, the late-night presentations, the red dress at dinner, the pizza nights. Those were my favorite days, Daniel. Those ordinary, boring, beautiful days. I want you to keep having them. That's all I ask. Just one thing. Live the ordinary days like they are enough. Because they are. They always were. Don't wait for something big to happen to feel grateful. Don't wait until you lose something to see what you had. The tea on a Tuesday morning. That was everything. You were everything. I love you. I always will. Sarah. I read it 4 times. The 5th time, I couldn't see the words anymore. I don't know when I moved from the floor to the bed. But at some point, I was lying down, on her side, face in her pillow, diary still in my hands, and for the first time since she died, I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel cheated. I just felt her. She wasn't gone because I didn't notice. She was gone because time runs out, for everyone, without warning, and she had spent every second of her time making sure mine was lighter. I still make tea on Tuesday mornings, 2 cups. I put hers on her side of the bed, and I sit with it for a while. Not because I've forgotten, because she asked me to live the ordinary days like they are enough. And I'm trying, Sarah. Every single day, I'm trying. Her diary sits on my bedside table now. I don't read it often, but sometimes, on the hard nights, I open it to page 89, and I remember. That love, real love, doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just quietly makes you tea and smiles, even when it's breaking. This was her diary. Thank you for listening.